Hi, Vincent.
Hey, Sonia. I was like, maybe I could grab a bite. I was like, oh no.
No, I saw you and I was like, give him a second.
Hey, Sonia, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm trying to take a look at to see since we don't have a speaker. I'm close to completing one of the level four, level fives that we can get credit for, and then that
Awesome.
will give us that check. So I'm hoping to find out which one needs it because I remembered seeing Uh, I know that there's the new additions for the educational type speeches, like how to give an effective evaluation or how to be an effective Toastmaster.
Right.
And I wanted to do that, but I am thinking like maybe it's only applying to new pathways that we purchased. But I'm just double checking
Um,
just to make sure.
it applies from what from I just read this. So, what was it? Uh, late last week. But from what I
Mhm.
understand, from what I read in the facts section, was that it applies to any level you have not completed. You can go back and do them if you want to, but you don't have to. But for any level that has not been completed, you're supposed to do them.
Okay. That's the
Hello, John.
case.
How are you?
Let me see if I can find the evaluation one. That one sounds fun. Oh, looks like
Oh, he's
he's
wrapping up a call.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see if I can download the slides really quick if that's the case for one of the level fours.
Okay.
Because I remember there was like default slides you could use. You don't have
Yeah, there
to.
are. Yeah.
Oh, and I guess I should purchase the engaging humorous path before the price increases. So I was like from 20 to 35.
I know, right?
Man, that's way too percentage wise. That's basically double. I think they could have done 40, but then it would have been too clear that it was double the amount.
Yeah.
Did you already purchase all the paths, Sonia?
I've purchased all the paths that are currently available. And I still have a couple that I am working on that were from that they had discontinued. So they don't have like they're not fully integrated, but they're still online.
Mhm.
Um, and then I haven't decided if I'm going to do the two new ones that they released.
Oh, the
The
ones that like I think,
historical version.
yeah.
If I do, it'll probably be the storyteller one.
Mhm.
Only because the other one has language that and attitudes in it that I'm not so sure I really want to read.
The one that Mary was talking about.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm not sure I want to. They should have filtered that stuff, kind of stuff out. They could have easily, but they chose not to.
yeah.
All right, so it's 2:05
Yeah. So I think we can go ahead and get
for
started.
me,
I know,
12:05 for you. Sorry.
yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. And then after that, I know Sib and Benson are both taking a role. So we can just fill in the roles on the way. And we could perhaps do a quick order change. So we'll do table topics first, and then we can add in the prepared speaking section right after.
Okay.
So I can take on the sergeant. Actually, would you be able to take on Sergeant Arms? That way it's like the handoff feels more like a handoff.
Course. All right. Well, welcome, John. Welcome, Vincent. Welcome to our Cinco de Mayo uh, Toastmasters meeting today. And Vincent, you're our Toastmaster of the day. Please take it away.
Thank you so much, Sonia. Welcome, John. Fellow Toastmasters, it's May 5th, and I was thinking about which theme to choose. I saw Cinco de Mayo, I was like, oh, it is an easy grab. But I also noticed that there was a Teacher Appreciation Week that also fell on the same day. And I decided, I did want to highlight and reflect back on the teachers and those who have educated us throughout our years and have really transformed the way we thought. When I thought about my teachers, I just remember that they had to manage so many different kids, and it's hard to pinpoint one teacher that really made a difference for me. So instead, I wanted to highlight one of the lab instructors that I had back in college. So back then, I did not feel quite confident in my programming skills. I remembered one of the projects we had to code something quite complex, and it wasn't in a language that I was familiar with. I remembered spending a lot of time after hours in the lab, constantly struggling and thinking about, I'm going to constantly fall behind because I don't know this language and I'm probably just going to fail this lab. But nonetheless, I stayed in the lab hour after hour, and she was always there. By the time that I completed the project, or I say completed, it was just like I was able to get the program to boot up, and that was it. By the time I showed this presentation to my instructor, I was ready for her to just say, how come you wasted these 6 months in this lab? You didn't learn a thing. I was completely ready for that. But instead, she just stopped and asked me, so it was must have been tricky to try to learn this new language, huh? I was like, yeah, it was. And instead she asked, so what did you learn from this experience when creating this project? And from her patience and her questions, she made me realize the importance of learning was about the process. And sometimes it can be difficult to learn things for the first time, but I really appreciated how she acknowledged the effort that it took. So that was something that stuck away with me in my future endeavors when just trying to make sure whenever I do something, that I put in the honest effort, regardless of what the final product was. Can I honestly say that I spent those hours? Did I put in the time? And if so, maybe that's a win in itself. So for this meeting, I just wanted to take that moment to appreciate the teachers or perhaps even lab instructors that entered into your life and truly made a difference. For today's word of the day, and for the benefit of the guests, we encourage the usage of the word of the day to help expand our vocabulary. Today's word is nurture. The definition of nurture is to further the development of. So, for example, nurturing a friendship. So, I encourage you to use this word of the day, and what you'll notice is that we'll do silent hand clapping throughout. So, you'll be seeing us doing something like this, and that's just to show a sign of encouragement, like kudos to adding a new word to your vocabulary. Today, we we don't have any prepared speakers, so we do have a slot for impromptu speeches in case anyone would like to give this a shot. And for the benefit of the guests, impromptu speeches give you the chance from 4 to 6 minutes to be able to speak on on a particular question. Again, off the cuff, you won't know it in advance. You just get it there, and you have that moment to form. You have about maybe 30 seconds to a minute to form your thoughts and deliver your speech. For today, was there anyone who would like to give this a shot? If not, we can do an extended table topics, which is just 1 to 2 minutes.
I can do one. I can give it a try anyway.
All right,
I haven't
then
done one
I'll
in a while, so
perfect. I'll try to cater the question, Sonia, so that way you can also get level 2 credit for
good.
your mentorship and mentoring another person. Okay, so and before we do that, I noticed that we did have a new guest, Ravi. Ravi, welcome to the group. I just
Hey,
want to
thanks.
ask, how
Appreciate
did
that.
you hear about us and what would you like to learn from Toastmasters today?
Just was having some free time during lunch today, so I found this program on meetup.com and just thought of joining. What's this all about? I've heard about great things about Toastmaster and how it kind of grooms you to be in a leadership position and being able to convey and relatively express yourself openly and clearly. So just trying to check out what's this all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are in the right place. The Toastmasters meeting are a bit structured. So what you'll notice is that we'll have the impromptu or formal, in this case, prepared speeches. In our club, we like to focus on long form impromptu speeches because
Hmm.
sometimes when we're in the workplace or we're just having a long conversation, we want to make
Hmm.
sure that we're able to convey our message
Hmm.
over a long period of time if we happen to be the person carrying the conversation. And at
Right.
times that happens. But
Right.
we also want to make sure that it's succinct as well.
Yep.
The second section that we have is impromptu speaking, which is just 1 to 2 minutes. Again, it's a similar format from the first section, it's just in a much shorter time frame. Our goal is to make sure everyone gets a chance to participate during that section.
All right. Who
And
who
last but
who
not least,
dictates what are you speaking
evaluations.
about?
For today, we're speaking around the theme about teacher appreciation and mentorship. So that's
Okay.
the topic. So you can just think of a few ideas. The impromptu questions will be centered around those ideas.
Okay. Got it. Sounds good.
All right, Sonia, so you are up for your impromptu speech. So for the question that I have for you is, what was a time someone has mentored you and has left a significant impact on how you thought from before and describe the before and after. So just describe a mentorship that you've had that's left a significant impact for you and describe who you were before and after the experience. And we have Benson as our timer. And just wanted to double check. Are you able to see Benson?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, sorry. So what's the time?
We'll do
This,
4 to 6 unless you'd like
yeah,
five to
this is
Okay.
seven.
Okay.
impromptu. So four
So
to
for
six.
so
Okay,
four, five,
perfect.
six. Okay.
Yep. Over to you, Sonia.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep to the educational track like Vincent was talking about earlier. My fellow Toastmasters and our venerated guests, thank you for being here today. A person who mentored me while I was in school and working on my bachelor's degree was a professor named Ted Mock. I was working through, at the time, I thought I wanted to become an accountant, a CPA. And I was working through that program. And I got probably two-thirds the way through the program before I got to this class that was on accounting information systems. And I had had one or two other uh, classes or experiences with programming in the past, but this was the first systems level class that I had ever really taken that made everything make sense because it tied in not only security and databases and UI and user experiences and auditing the data and the user actions. It just sort of made everything click for me on how everything was supposed to work together. And I got really interested with him because we did a lot of different projects like you were talking about earlier. And some of them I was like, okay, well, this is just kind of silly. And then some of them like, oh, I needed to know that sort of silly thing so that I could really build this other database with a UI face to it and have it make sense and have it follow all of the accounting rules. And then and I was probably one of the most talkative, most, person that asked the most questions in that class. And as we got towards the end of the class, he recommended that I actually, think about taking another programming class. And so I ended up taking a C++ programming class. And I went back to him several times with different projects from that class. And when I just couldn't figure things out, I'm like, I don't know how to make this work. He was actually more instructive and more helpful to me than my, tutors or the recommended people from the class, the TAs from the class, from the professor teaching the C++ class, because he made it sort of fit from a systems perspective for me, sort of the big picture sort
So
of
I'm
view of
sorry.
things.
Is John aware of your mic is not mute? Oh, I think he's not aware of that. So
Can we mute him?
No, we don't have the host permissions,
we
but
don't have the, yeah, I don't have that privilege. I send him private message, but yeah, he's
But to continue, um, so there was this one midterm project that we had to do where it was this bubble sort in C++ in and we only had access to the student version of the IDE that uh, the system or the program that you use to actually write the code in. If anyone doesn't understand what I mean. So I had worked on this. I spent a couple of all-nighters and I couldn't get it to work. And finally, I came around and I found that there was actually a bug in the student version of the IDE that would not allow it to work. And I had spent so much time with Professor Mock and with the TAs, and I just, I was so frustrated with it. So finally, I sent it in and I was like, I don't know if it's going to work. Here's my code. I don't know if it's going to work. Here, did the submission, run it. Tell me how, how it goes because I can't get it to compile and work. And so I got back the feedback from the professor. He's like, it works perfectly. And you use these methods to do it in a more sophisticated manner than we taught in the class. So, A plus. And I was like, oh, cool. All right. The first thing I did with that is I sent that off to Professor Mock. I'm like, we did it. It worked. And so that was probably the most, yeah, biggest experiences I had with a professor who wasn't necessarily the professor for the course, but mentoring me through yet another subject matter that was related and overall. In fact, he was the professor who actually made me realize that I didn't want to be an accountant. I didn't want to be a CPA. I wanted to go into programming. I wanted to, do something different. And so actually there was about 22 students actually that year who were on that same mental path, and the following year they introduced at USC a new accounting program, a new path that included accounting information systems as an actual um, major. So it was very, very nice to have done that and been sort of pioneering that sort of path, and then having the university sort of realize, hey, this is a real thing. We need to prepare students to do this. And Professor Mock was one of the ones that was leading the charge to get that to happen. And I was like, well, why did they have it this year? It would have been, I could have done that. Why did they have it while I was here? That's the major I would have gone for. But nonetheless, Professor Mock was truly an inspiration to me, and I really enjoyed having him be my mentor through at that time period. But thank you very much for listening to my story. Back to you, Vincent.
thank you for sharing that, Sonia. It's wonderful to just hear how a professor is basically able to change your career trajectory by helping you identify something that you truly love during that experience. So I'd like to take a moment since we do provide feedback to our speakers, and in this case, since there's no dedicated evaluators, what we can do is do a round robin evaluation. And for the benefit of our guests, round robin evaluations is when each person has an opportunity to share some feedback, and ideally the feedback should be specific. So anything that you liked, mention what exact sentence you liked and why that might have resonated with you. And for feedback, anything that Sonia could have specifically changed for next time or to try out. It doesn't have to be anything negative. It could be maybe you can try this out. But do keep in mind, it's an impromptu speech. So, all right, with that, we'll take a minute or so. And Benson, if you could time it before we move on to the next section.
I just have a question here. Can we just go one round of introduction?
Oh, one round of introduction? Oh, for like everyone here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right.
So I could, I guess, was there anything you're interested in learning about in terms of like roles or experience in Toastmasters or, um,
So let's just kind of make it simple, right? Who are you and what do you do and where are you from and
yeah,
what's your hobby? Okay, just
I think we do that.
just a starter, yeah.
So we can do,
Icebreaker,
yeah, icebreaker.
yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Maybe next time we should do something in the beginning. So introduce yourself. Yeah.
More
So
more more
yeah,
more for
of
the
course. Yeah,
engagement.
exactly. Hey,
We could
Ravi.
do it with
Yeah,
the
I'll do the first.
introductions. Oh yeah, go for it, Benson.
Okay. Hi, Ravi. My name is Benson. I
Hmm.
joined the Toastmaster almost 8 years ago.
Okay.
Okay, I work as programmer, we can say, or software engineer in the network security industry. I've been working in this area for more than 20 years. The reason I joined this Toastmaster is because I just got promoted. I got promoted 8 years ago to a team leader, so I
Hmm.
have to host meetings. Well,
Hmm.
before I joined Toastmaster, I barely speak in the
Hmm.
public, so
Hmm.
it's really beneficial to me.
All right.
Okay.
Where are you based out of, Benson?
I'm in the Bay Area,
In Bay Area.
Hayward. Hayward, you know that?
No
Oh,
way.
yeah, no?
No way. I'm from
Uh,
Hayward too.
okay, so maybe just 5 minutes. Yeah, you know there's a Stonebury, right? The
Stony Brook,
Stonebury.
yeah. Up,
Yeah,
up,
Stonebury.
up. Yeah.
Yes,
Cool.
yes, I'm here. Okay.
Cool. Pleasure.
Mhm.
I can go next. So I'm Vincent. I've been a Toastmaster for 8 years. One of the things that or one of the reasons I joined, similar to Benson, although not in the team lead aspect, I was a software engineer, but didn't get many speaking opportunities, and
Hmm.
also because my hobby is video gaming.
Hmm.
It's You don't really get to talk to too many people, and I was okay with it for the longest time. So until I was like,
You
oh, I
you
have a
don't
problem
get to
speaking.
talk as a video gamer, really?
Like for me, like I tend to like games that don't require you to talk to too many people. Like sometimes
Oh,
it's just those cozy games where you're building a farm or something, or you're trying
okay.
to
Okay.
like manage things within the game. Those are the
Okay.
games I've tended to gravitate towards.
Okay.
So I wanted a few more speaking opportunities and just wanted to make sure I got out of my shell. And
Hmm.
since then, it's helped me a lot. I've been a lot more comfortable creating different groups now. So recently, I've been
Hmm.
trying to manage a running group. So that's
Hmm.
one of my newer hobbies.
Cool.
So that's something I'm working towards a half marathon. So that's my
Oh,
recent goal
awesome.
for this year.
It's awesome. Where are you based, Vincent?
Based in Milpitas.
Milpitas. Awesome. And what do you do?
I'm a software engineer for a satellite company.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Pleasure.
I have mics on, so I can go next. My name is Sonia, and I've been a Toastmaster for about 10 years now. And let's see, what do I do? I am a engineering program manager, and right now I'm working on a couple different contracts. So I'm based out of Austin, Texas. Uh, used to live in the Bay Area, but came here so I could buy a house.
Oh, cool. So you guys are creating Silicon Valley in Austin, huh?
Yep, pretty much. We call it Silicon Hills
That's
here.
that was a COVID trend, right?
Everyone moving
Actually,
max
it was
exodus.
before that, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. Pleasure, Sonia. Good to meet you.
So, welcome, Ravi. My name is Sib. No, I'm not the newest in this group. John is by far the newest among the rest of us. I joined probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. I haven't kept track. For reasons somewhat similar to Vincent, I felt that I was not getting enough opportunities to speak in my daily life.
Hmm.
I had recently quit my job as well, it's hard to explain, but basically I was being liaison between my nonprofit the nonprofit I was working for and the biotech research companies that it was funding. And I'm an introvert. So even in conversation among friends, I'm always the one sitting down and not talking. And given that English is not my first language, I was feeling I was actually losing my speaking skills and that I needed a place to practice them. And I think that has helped. I don't know if I'm becoming a better speaker, but I'm definitely not becoming a worse one, which was definitely the case
Right.
after
I can
being
I
at
can
home
tell
and
that
not.
you have really improved on your expressiveness.
So you say you can tell I have improved. When was the last time you were here? Were you here before today in this
No, this is
meeting
my
or
first
not?
time.
Oh,
Very
it's
first
my
time.
first time. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
right, and what I do now, well, actually, at the moment I'm pretty much a full-time activist. That's pretty much the situation. I've decided to make peace with it. And yourself, I was late today, so if you introduced yourself, I missed it, unfortunately.
I haven't. I'm gonna go next. I don't know if John's in here as well. Okay. All right. Anyway, hey guys, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. My name is Ravi Acharya. I'm based out of here in the Bay Area. I am also an engineering program manager. I work for a biotech company. Been primarily working in health tech, med tech, and biotech industry for past 10 years now. I grew up here in Sunnyvale, California. I went to school locally at San Jose State. So yeah, pretty much local. And on a day-to-day basis, I do a lot of stakeholder management. I do a lot of change management, budget management, a lot of technical program management as well. Um, so just excited to be here, and then I just wanted to check it out. What's this all about? But looks like I'm still going to be joining for other sessions in the future because this really helps you think instantly and then kind of talk through the details, which is kind of important as you kind of go through the leadership curve of things. So yeah, excited to be here and pleasure meeting you guys.
Yeah,
You're
pleasure
welcome.
to meet you
Well,
too, Ravi.
yeah, welcome.
So we'll move on to the second section, which is the impromptu speaking section, and I think that's great. So we'll be able to go to next session, which will be led by Sonia, our table topics speaker or table topics master. Over to you, Sonia.
Thank you. So in sort of the same vein that we've been going in terms of learning from mentors and Teacher Appreciation Week, today is Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo is probably one of the most misunderstood holidays, quote unquote holidays, that especially Americans participate in.
Mhm.
Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day. It is
Mhm.
not about California's freedom from Spain or Mexico. It commemorates the Battle of Puebla on May 5th in 1862 when Mexican forces under General Ignacio, I'm going to get this one wrong, Zaragoza, if my notes are right, defeated a larger French force during France's intervention in Mexico.
Mhm.
Mexico independence from Spain is celebrated on September 16th. So keep that in mind. And it made the start of the 1810 independence movement. The origins of Cinco de Mayo are also quite frequently misaligned with the Bear Flag Revolt in 1846, when American settlers briefly declared a California republic against Mexican authority, not Spanish authority. In the 1980s and 1990s, it's become heavily commercialized. It's also been related to the U.S. West during the Civil War, and because Latinos in California saw Mexico's resistance to the French imperialism tied to the Union cause in our democracy and anti-slavery politics here before we became the United States and after the Civil War. So there's a lot of misunderstood history there. Now, there's other holidays that we have that people, just blindly participate in and think that they know what it's about. So today I'm going to ask you some questions about some of those holidays. And this one, I think, Sib, I'd like you to answer.
I already got el Cinco de Mayo wrong. I was confusing it with the Tres de Mayo painting by Goya, which so I thought it was somehow
99%
neurons crossed in my brain. I thought it was about opposition to Napoleonic forces in Spain. Thank you for enlightening me.
Well, and that's part of what I wanted to focus our table topics on today is education about different holidays that we participate in that we don't necessarily understand why or where they came from. And my first question is to you, Sid, because you've lived in several different countries and you've experienced many different cultures. So my question to you is, what is a holiday or tradition from your family or from one of those other places that you've lived that outsiders don't understand necessarily, but they still participate in?
Oh, gosh. I'm not sure. There may be. Okay. I grew up in France, and so I was a kid in France. So what I liked about holidays is how we celebrated them, not why. I can tell you about a holiday that we celebrated that I haven't seen celebrated in the US, but I'm actually not sure. Well, I'm gonna ask Wikipedia, I guess. Might just as well find out now. What is this thing called? La Fête des Rois, the feast of the King's Feast. And in France, that is a holiday where you eat a special cake, which is mostly marzipan based. And my vague memory of it, without yet looking at Wikipedia, it must have had something to do with the end of a period of fasting. Is that true? Epiphany. First Sunday of January to commemorate the arrival of the three wise men to the baby Jesus. I had no idea that was why. It makes sense. So the kings are basically the wise men. They tend to refer to them as kings. So that's what it is all about. Okay. Small wonder I did not know that, because France is not, it's not high on, religious interpretation, on stressing the religious aspects of things. But what I can tell you is that it's real fun, because you basically have this cake, which is fairly flat. It's a pastry, which is, okay, I'd better hurry because I'm running out of time. But basically the thing is you hide something in it, a tiny weeny thing, which they call the fève. It's a hard piece of plastic. You cut the thing in different slices. Everyone takes a slice, and the person who gets the slice with the little thing in is for the purpose of the party, the king of the party, and you put a little wooden, not wooden, paper, shiny paper crown on the head, right? Fun thing. It's for kids.
Absolutely. You might be surprised. They have a similar tradition in Louisiana, in New Orleans. So that was very
That
cool.
makes sense. Comes from France. Okay, so they must have had it forever in France.
Must have brought it with them. Absolutely. So a couple of other holidays that are similar in this case of something that we might not always understand is St. Patrick's Day being celebrated here in the United States. It began as an Irish religious cultural feast. Big parade day, lots of public identities, and version was strongly shaped by Irish immigrants in America. The Smithsonian notes Irish soldiers helped bring the holiday to America with a New York parade as early as 1762. So that's very, very, very interesting. So my next question, I think we will go to Vincent. Vincent, could you help us with timing? Awesome. So, Benson, have you ever attended a cultural celebration that taught you something surprising?
Okay, thank you, Tabletop Master. One thing surprised me in the Western side holidays was the first Halloween while I immigrate to Canada. And I thought the reason the people have Halloween is trying to be brave, to teach kids brave, and to not afraid of ghost, something like that. But I'm not good at the history. But when I Google the Halloween, it gave me different perspectives of why the Western people celebrate the Halloween. And it sounds like it's more like I still don't quite understand that, but it's more like a commercial driven day, so people can sell more things related to the girls to have them celebrate, as well as the candies and those costumes. So basically, at that time, it's something like a sales day for big big supermarket like Target and so on. So people celebrate that totally driven by the commercial reasons. Something like the Santa, which was created by Coca-Cola, have this red hat and the red dresses. That's very surprised me, and that, that's the culture shock I have so far. Back to tabletop game master.
Thank you. Actually, American culture or retailers have exported shopping events like Halloween and Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, around the world. So that should not be a shock. Ravi, would you like to try one question?
Sure, I can give it a shot.
I can put it in the chat for you.
Sure.
The question is, what is one Americanized version of a tradition that you actually still enjoy, even though it's been Americanized?
Even though it's Americanized.
That's commercial.
Um, can I talk about Black Friday?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's so Black Friday is usually around Thanksgiving, right? And Thanksgiving is a tradition in the US where people thank each one another. And it's just a moment that people take in a year when they try to reflect back in the relationship they have had with that particular person and and the things they're thankful for based on the relationship they had, right? So it can be in personal level, it can be in professional level. And in professional circles, we do a lot of events around Thanksgiving. We either do like a Secret Santa is more during Christmas, but they do like things like White Elephant and all that, right? Just as a reminder to just thank one another and be grateful for each other's help, yeah, all the year long, right? So the I mean, yeah, Black Friday is just a special. Um, I wouldn't say tradition, but like it's a special day where you're able to buy all the gadgets you wanted the whole year. And then, yeah, it's just a great opportunity to explore what's out there with the limited amount of resource you have that you're not able to afford all year long.
That's a very good way of explaining what Black Friday is to people.
Hmm.
I like it.
Thank you.
Okay. Uh, do we have time, Vincent, do you think, or should I pause? Because I have one more for you if you want.
I I'll make it quick, and after that we can do general evaluations.
Okay. So this is something you recently visited Japan. Christmas in Japan, it's not a national holiday, but it became a secular commercial seasonal celebration. KFC in Japan in 1974 created Kentucky for Christmas a Kentucky for Christmas campaign in Japan that helped to create the now famous fried chicken Christmas tradition that they have there for Christmas in Japan, which I thought was kind of interesting. Never heard of it before. But my question to you is, what is the difference between cultural appreciation and cultural appropriation when celebrating holidays that aren't now not necessarily, based from your own culture or your own family identity?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you, Sonia. I did remember seeing a movie where it was a Japanese movie, and all of a sudden they were eating lots of fried chicken for Christmas. I was like, oh, this is great. I wish my culture had that. That's awesome because I love chicken wings. So that's something that I would just like if I could, if no one else liked them, I would be like, can I just like grab all of them and then just sit there and eat by myself? That would be perfect. That's all I need. But regarding your question about cultural appropriation or appreciation, that was something that I remembered encountering just last year. Because a lot of my friends, they're more from they have an Indian or they're Indian. So I I'm like the only Chinese Vietnamese person in this group of people. But one thing that I really appreciated was when they invited me to their Festival of Lights, and I was just like, oh, what should I prepare? What should I bring? What should I wear? And they're like, oh, if you don't have any costume or we don't have you don't have any ethnic attire, I can hand you mine because we're both around the same size. I'm like, oh, okay, that works. But as I was wearing it, I started to think about all the social media sensations like, oh, this person's doing cultural appropriation because they're wearing something not from their culture. And throughout that time, I was like, oh no, like I I want to I want to make sure like I respect their culture. So if I'm wearing this costume, would that be like cultural appropriation and whatnot? So there's just a lot of conflict. But I decided to go to that party anyway, just because I knew that these are the people I trusted and they wanted me to try this out. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So um, I I think cultural appropriation and appreciation is definitely a tricky subject. I don't have a perfect answer to it, but I would definitely say that if the group that you're with wants you to give it a shot or wants you to give it a try, I think that's more than a welcome to give it a shot without worrying about the appropriation aspect. I think if you're somehow using it to your own advantage, whether you're making money off of it or whether you're somehow benefiting it from it versus trying to understand it, that's that line that I would draw. So overall, I think it's fun to explore different cultures to learn more about it and just really appreciate it. Don't look at it as I'm going to make some monetary benefit, but be like, I want to learn more about it. And I think that it's that spirit that's really important.
I have to agree with you on that. I had some ladies I worked with who were Indian, and we had an Indian festival uh, that the company was putting on, and they decided that I was going to get dressed up with them, and so they did my makeup, they did my hair, they gave me this serape, that type of thing. It was fun. It was really fun to play dress up and feel like I was part of the the environment, the culture there. So it was a lot of fun. And so, yeah, I totally get what you were saying there. It sort of felt kind of odd at first, but then everyone was like, "Oh, you look so wonderful! Hey, come participate in this, and oh, come do this dance." And I was like, "Okay," but I had a great time. So that's all of our time today for table topics. Um, let's go on. Let me give it back to our Toastmaster of the day, Vincent.
Thank you so much, Sonia, and thank you for allowing us to take that moment to explore different cultures around the world. I think that's truly a way that we're able to connect with other people because we get to see or and even understand the cultures that we celebrate. Like so I was mentioning, like sometimes I celebrate a holiday, but I have no clue why. I'm just like, yes, food, I know, and yes, vacation. That's all I need to know, and I'm good. And to Benson's story too about just like learning Halloween for the very first time and knowing that, yeah, it's not always about fun. It's sometimes just about money. That's sometimes a holiday too. So thank you for sharing the stories, everyone. I really appreciated that spin on it. So next we'll be moving on to the general evaluations and we'll be doing a round robin evaluation for Sonia. And I don't believe we have a general evaluator. I don't want to claim it just because of I don't want you all to have like the same Toastmaster in a row, just so we can have some variety. I wanted to see if Sib, would you be open to being the general evaluator for this time and being a Toastmaster the day for next week, if that would work?
Probably. Let me check my what's going on for me next week before I say yes, and then yeah, it looks good.
Okay, perfect. So I'll hand it off to our just impromptu general evaluator, Sib.
General narrator. Okay. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Vincent. And so we are now in the general evaluation part of our meeting. And we're going to start with the round robin evaluations for. I was about to say the different speeches, but I think we should limit to the people who are still on the call given the time, and that those who are gone are not going to be benefiting from it. So, Vincent, do you want to evaluate Sonia's speech?
Yes, absolutely. No, thank you, Sib, and thank you so much, Sonia, for being able to take on this challenge as well. So I really liked how you were able to showcase the struggles of when we're first learning something sometimes we're just wondering, why does this really matter? Like the projects don't apply anywhere. And eventually you were able to kind of just use those experiences for this future project. And you were able to learn so many different solutions because you're like, how come this thing is broken? And it's just a process of troubleshooting. To me, as an engineer, I was just like, oh yeah, I totally understand that struggle until like you read the fine print somewhere and you're like, oh my gosh, this was not supposed to work in the first place. Totally get that. I love the story just because as an engineer, I related to that. So thank you for sharing that experience. And I also really liked how you're able to highlight one specific aspect of the question that was asked. Like one question that I was focusing on, or the question focused on, was your experience before and after you met this mentor, and that how you were able to shift your career trajectory as a result was that clear A to B. So I liked how you were able to honor that question as well. I'm struggling to figure out how to adjust it. I know I'm trying to do it because it's in the context of an impromptu speech. How would you adjust an impromptu variant? My only thought is just maybe, yeah, no, I was gonna say call to action, but not all speeches need a call to action. I'll think about this a little bit more, but overall, I felt like as an impromptu speech, you were able to clearly answer the question, which I think not everyone is able to do with an impromptu speech. We can sometimes get lost with our story, though we lose sight of what the original ask was. But I felt you honored that, so kudos.
Thank you.
Benson, would you like to give some feedback to Sonia?
Yes, really. Now it become like Oh, what's the English word for that word? Okay, I don't know. I'm just trying to look up some English words to give Sonia the the, the feedback because there's a word like it's not jealous, but it's like s- so good in this like okay
Envious?
uh
Envious?
yes, and maybe it's envious. Yeah, it's like Sonia's so lucky. She changed her subject from the accounting CPA to a programmer, and just like her mentors mentioned that, which is great. It's like so good because it remind my experience in the high school. I was pretty good on the math, so I eventually go to the computer science. But one of my literary teacher, think I should go for the literature, to writing, to speak, and debate, so that direction career. But I didn't have courage to do that. I, he think I know that well and I have passion to that, and that proved on my son. Like he's grow and educated in the States, and he just goes through the literature and now become the lawyer. And I think he inherited some of my gene from me, and he doesn't like math, no like physics, no nothing. So that's a really touch story. So see, I think that when people speech, they talk about their experience, it's got some similar things like different angle, like people feel that. I think that's the value we have here. Okay, back to evaluate.
Thank you very much, Benson. In principle, I know I should be giving feedback, round robin feedback to Sonia, but because I was American and I'm not good at doing two things at once, my focus was on that, so I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Give me that feedback too. I heard a few ahs and ums and I was like, cringed. An internal
Yes,
cringe happened.
so first, thank you, Benson, for posting the time report in the chat. Can you tell everybody was on time? I think it was everybody was except me. Okay, all right. Benson, do you want to comment on what you posted?
Oh, the timing. Yeah, I think the timing role is very important. If we had a timer in my previous meeting, I won't miss 4 minutes to join this meeting. I cannot help my customer, but I really need a timer there, like reminding him, hey, it's time. The meeting is over. Back to general evaluator. It's important.
Okay, thank you, Benson. And okay, my American report really report light. So as you were saying, Sonia, you caught yourself saying us, and I caught you saying us. Three of them, I think, but it's not always easy to gauge whether you're saying it or not because you're not like it's really like so it's barely there. You have them, but they're barely there. So you're definitely getting better at moving
Cutting it
towards a
off.
pose, at moving them towards pose.
I have secret ums.
And I'm going to take advantage of my power of speech right now to ask Vincent, what was your background? You had a very gamey background at some point, and you mentioned loving games, so I'm really curious.
That one is from a movie, Spirited Away.
Oh,
Let me see if I can find that.
I've always loved that
oh,
There we
movie.
go.
wow, I should. Is that the one I saw?
Oh, it was
I think I
I
saw
think it
it.
was this one, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it was this one, yes. Wow.
I can send you more details on it in case you're interested though.
Yes, thank you.
It is one of the classics. I think it's very whimsical, so in case you like
Yeah.
that fantasy aspect and kind
Yeah,
of, I would say cinema
saw
aspect of
one
it.
of his movies, but I can't remember if that's the one I saw.
Yeah,
I
I'll
believe that
send it to
one's
you just in
an award
case.
winner too.
Yeah, this one was
International
big in
award winner.
America.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Well,
but yeah, timing.
Anyway, yeah.
Speaking of timing, we probably should figure out roles and stuff after.
so we believe we are done with the general evaluations. So back to you, Mr. Toastmaster Vincent.
Thank you so much, Sib, for being the general evaluator and Toastmaster for next week, if that works. Thank you so much, Sib, for being able to take that on. So for next week, I believe it's our usual meeting for May 12th. And I just wanted to confirm a few roles. So we have Sib as the Toastmaster of the day, and we can make it a target in case anyone, we are looking for people who are trying to finish their pathway speeches. I could probably finish up level 4. It's a unique one where I need people to interrupt me as I'm speaking. So I'll be assigning people a few roles and being like, you could ask questions randomly
Those
during
are
this time.
fun.
That's perfectly fine. So you have a secret role and you just interrupt randomly during the speech, and I have to figure out how to address it because sometimes people do interrupt during a speech, and you have to figure out how do I manage these interruptions. Hopefully Betty will be there because I can be like, "Can you mute the speaker, please?" And that's a way we could do that in an actual meeting. So I
Oh,
that will
nice.
be a interesting speech, and that'll help me complete the level 4, and I'll be able to submit it for securely speaking. So I can be a speaker. Who can be the table topics and general evaluator? I
Yeah, I
think
can do
Sonia's
the
table
general evaluator.
topics. Would you be able to be table topics instead, Vincent? Just because Sonia was table topics just for this meeting,
Okay, yeah,
just
sure.
to mix it up. Okay,
Yeah, I'll do the
thank
Okay.
you.
table topics.
And then
And then
I can do general evaluator. Yeah.
perfect. All right, so we'll have yes, we'll do that. I wish Robbie and Chris were here. Or yeah,
Keep the
John
consistency.
and Robbie. Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, cheese. The consistency, and I always do the picture at the end of meeting, so we see people get the credit. Okay.
Yes, this will be easy for the secretary report too. And but yeah, I'll log this speech down, Sonia, so you can just see it in the future as needed.
Okay.
And yeah, we should be good for today's meeting. So if you do know who your teachers, past teachers are, just to end it on that final thought, if you do know and still can contact your previous teacher, do send them that thought. Say thanks. Like thanks to you, I really really able to change my trajectory. Just wanted to let you know because now I have an excuse and it's not weird because it's Teacher Appreciation Week. Well, there we go. All right. So thank you, everyone, and hope to see you all next week.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Merci,
Okay,
bye,
bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Vincent.